Today on Arts 24, one of the architects of modern rock, founding member of Radiohead and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee.
Hi, I'm Ed O'Brien, and I have a new album out called Blue Morpho.
After nearly 4 decades at the heart of one of the most influential bands of our time, Ed O'Brien is stepping into a new chapter with his solo album Blue Morpho, his most intimate work yet, a record shaped by depression and the hills of Wales. Ed O'Brien, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Arts 24. Blue Morpho is named after a butterfly. You first saw while living in Brazil with your family in the early 2010s, a time when you sort of ran away from everything for a little while to be on the outskirts of the real world, I guess. What was the emotional starting point for this album?
It was a place of vulnerability. It was a place of darkness. It came from what I call it my dark night of the soul. Other people would say it's like a mental health crisis. It came from that place that a lot of people know. You know, it's like falling in a hole. And you literally, as a musician or a creator, you're just, whatever comes out is a response to the life that you're living.
It is your second solo album after Earth in 2020. This one does feel more personal.
Yeah.
Maybe from where it's coming from, this dark period, a kind of depression. The music was a kind of therapy.
Yeah.
The first opening track is called Incantations, and you talk about still running from it all, being deep in the hole and not being able to feel anything at all.
Yeah.
How do you think, now looking back, you got to such a dark place?
I think, like a lot of people, and like, you know, my generation, stuff happens when you're a child and it remains unprocessed. And I've been running from it all my life. And that second lockdown, I had to stop, like we all did. And I think this happened to a lot of people. And then tap on the shoulder. Right now, there's a ghost from the past. It's right. It's time to process this. You know, when you have a midlife crisis, you have a whatever you want to call it, or some kind of crisis. If it's a health crisis, it's your body saying, okay, the way that you're living is unsustainable. Now, it might be that my body was just saying, okay, if you don't deal with this stuff now, you're going to get ill. Much as it was incredibly painful at the time, I'm so thankful because it's where you grow. When you feel like you're healing, you can look back on everything and you go, I'm so thankful for everything, even the traumatic stuff, because you know it's informed everything. You know, I probably wouldn't be a musician if I hadn't had those moments in, you know, that stuff in childhood, because for me, music was a refuge, became this refuge, this escape. And then I was blessed enough, fortunate enough to find my brothers in Radiohead, and we started making music, and you're able to take that darkness and spin it into something beautiful, or hopefully something beautiful. It's like alchemy. So I'm very, very lucky that I'm able to, firstly, I could sit in this and really process it and really deal with it in a natural way, which was a spiritual practice, but also being in Mother Nature.
Walking in the Welsh countryside.
Walking in the Welsh countryside, walking in those hills, swimming in the rivers there. And it's so powerful, it's so healing. And for me, there was, you know, my cathedral, my place of worship is our rivers, our woods. That's where I feel connected with spirit, with God, and it's very important for me.
Suddenly, there was stillness in my life, and I think when you have stillness, that's when spirit comes through.
2026 is the year of Blue Morpho. Tell us what's next for Radiohead. There was talk of concerts.
Well, I think the idea is that we, like last year, we did, you know, amongst other things in our lives, we did some Radiohead shows, and we did 20, and I think that felt like a good number, or around that number. And I think we were exploring the idea of doing 20 shows somewhere, seeing how that goes, and then, you know, just seeing how it goes. It was really good fun. It was very emotional. It was very powerful. It was lovely coming back together. So, again, I mean, it's one of those things that you sort of say as a kind of like, well, that's the idea, and then it's funny the way that things, suddenly it's like, we've got this plan to do this. It's like, it's anyone who knows Radiohead and has seen us and understands what we're about is that we never make big plans. We have ideas and we talk about it, and sometimes they happen and sometimes they don't.
At certain points, though, in the band, you actually thought it might be over for you. After a Moon-Shaped Pool album and the 2018 tour, you felt burnt out. You weren't sure what the future held for you. But last year, you said that these concerts were amazing. What changed? What happened in between that time?
7 years. We change, don't we? Like, we get older as human beings. We change. It's like family. You know, you live with your family for 25 years. You know, you're ready to... It's not right to be living under the same house. But you come back for Christmas and it feels great, you know. But you don't want to stay all of January, you know. So it's exactly the same as that. It's like things have lives. They have everything.
It's fluid.
It's fluid, and you know, it's like all relationships. Some relationships are 2 days, some are 2 months, some are 5 months, some are 5 years, some are 50 years. It is what it is, and what you have to do in life is you have to be honest about how does it feel, and that's the key thing. So you can make all the plans, but if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And we've been sort of true to that, which is great.
Are you talking about making more music, new music?
No, not at all. We haven't broached that thing at all, because that's another whole commitment. Everybody's just really happy with their kind of creative way at the moment. I'm excited to do another record after this with my own. And Johnny and Tom have obviously got lots of projects. Colin's with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and Philip's got his own solo projects as well. So I think we're just really happy just pottering along and staying creative and following our own little lanes.
Through Radiohead's music, you've always talked about, and in your own music, talked about being in the world today, technology, governments, politics, capitalism. I was wondering, in 2026, how are you feeling about the world?
How are you feeling about the world, right? I mean, it's not great, is it?
No.
It's shit. I mean, it is. It's shit. And I studied politics and economics, so I'm very interested in the bigger picture. I was at university from 87 to 90 in Manchester. And during that time, we saw the collapse of the Berlin Wall. It was the collapse of communism. And I think what we're witnessing now is the slow collapse of this form of capitalism that we have. It's unsustainable. We need to find a way that puts, first of all, the planet, this beautiful home, as the most important thing. We need to work in harmony, and that means more than just putting up wind turbines, frankly, because if we're going to really move forward as a species, we need to listen more to our indigenous people. They have a very, very deep understanding of this planet, and we're a bit, in our West and the East or whatever, we're a bit two-dimensional. We put everything on balance sheets and profit. There's more to life than that, and unfortunately, all our big decisions are made by business leaders and politicians who live in cities. So if we're going to be an enlightened species, we need to find another way. And I think what we're witnessing is the collapse, the slow collapse of our system. And I think it'll be forced upon us. And I think that's what's happening now. And it's painful, right? It's very painful to be a participant and feel it, and feel the fear of everybody and the fear in the media. You know, you look at our political leaders and our business leaders, and they're usually men, and they're usually men who are wounded men. They're not very evolved human beings. They can't feel the beauty of this planet. They don't understand it. But meanwhile, we're fighting wars and we're making grand gestures. It's kind of pathetic. It's like 14-year-old, 15-year-old boys, and I was one of them, gesturing in the school playground. There's not a drop of wisdom. Sorry, you've opened the floodgates.
Well, we have opened the floodgates.
Yes.
We're sitting here in Paris.
Yes.
It's 10 years since Brexit.
Yes. Holy moly.
Are you missing being part of the EU?
Holy shit, yes. I miss that link that we had. We could have done it in a way that we still didn't close our borders. And because we got used to coming to Paris, and it's just like, we're brothers and sisters, right? And then it felt like a terrible step back. And I remember the first trip I did abroad, it was with the band it was in 2020 when I put this band together, and we were doing a session here in France. We had a bus, you get to Dover, and then you had to all get off at 3 o'clock in the morning and get your passport stamped. I mean, for a lot of us, I think it plays into these horrible notions of like this old kind of this sort of colonial thing that Britain had about this being this little empire and a quarter of the world was red, and it's just, can we move on from that, really? You know, the border thing is just pathetic.
Just one last question
Yeah.
then. It all began when you were 17
Yeah.
with Radiohead,
Yeah.
like more than 3 decades ago, with a song about not belonging, feeling like a weirdo,
Yeah.
with Creep.
But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo.
Do you feel now with this album, with where you are in the world, living in Wales, have you found your place? Are you feeling balanced? Are you feeling well?
Yeah, I am. I feel really well. For me, being connected with nature is super important, and I've got this practice in life that is fundamental for me finding that peace. If I didn't have that, I think I'd be rocked around. You know, my meditation is so important. If I don't do that every day, then I feel the slings and arrows of life. I will be rocked. But having that kind of bedrock of that connection with spirit just allows me to sort of also not judge things.
Ed O'Brien, thank you so much.
Thank you.